So I found myself in between the two, and here I was teaching theology of the body in between the two. So it was quite ironic. I mean, I'm a member of Opus Dei, and our thing is sanctification in the middle of the world. I couldn't get more in the middle of the world than teaching theology of the body between a sexy shop and a gay sauna. But anyway, but it's one thing I realized while I was there is that after a year there, it just numb. You felt this weight of sin around you, and it really does weigh down on you. And the more sensitive your soul is, the more it weighs on you. So it's a reality which we have to acknowledge and try to help in some way to cure the culture. So this human sensitivity is a fruit of culture. We need to encourage this human sensitivity, and this all starts in the family with children and so on, and helping children to know what's good to watch and what's not good to watch, and what magazines are good and what are bad, and not just to say don't do that, but actually explain why. Okay, so it's also this original shame is a permanent element of our culture and morals. That shame is there's good shame and bad shame. And the good shame, it helps us realize that we're not perfect, and we need to protect ourselves. And so it's a permanent aspect of our culture, and this is connected directly with the genesis of the ethos of the human person, of the human body. Pornovision and pornography both take place when the limit of shame is overstepped, and when the right to the privacy of the body in its masculinity or femininity is violated. Now, many of you may not be familiar, and very few people outside of this group, I'm sure, are familiar with the term pornovision. The first time you see it, you think it's some sort of a hardcore Eurovision or something. But it's pornovision is actually what we are most familiar with. Pornography is actually written. It's graphy. It's written. It's literature that arouses. And pornovision are images that are aroused. Okay, so the thing that attacks our computers or whatever, and in the magazines, the vast majority of the problems we have with pornography is actually pornovision. So it's good to know these words and to be able to put them in the right context. So these happen when the limit of shame is overstepped. So when we realize that we're seeing something we really have no right to see, because these images are really between spouses. This is an intimacy that only belongs between spouses. One thing I noticed I was in Rome last week, and I was just going through town, and Emperor Armani, the designers, have these massive posters of David Beckham and his wife, Posh Spice. Sorry. So, and there are these massive photographs. I mean, these photographs are the size of the ceiling. They are absolutely massive, and each of their heads will be the size of one of those cubes. And they're lying on the bed or whatever, in their underwear. You know, this is an intimate photograph of a young couple. Now, I don't feel any right to know and see them in such an intimate situation. It's nobody's business to see these people in such a situation. But this company, because they pay them enough money, they feel that they have the right to do this. So this is a real numbing in our culture. And this is the middle of Rome. You know, this is, we have to be aware that there are really tremendous powers behind the promotion of pornography. And the pornographic business is, I believe, 8 times the size, as strong as Hollywood. You're talking about multi-billion-dollar business. So there's this tremendous push behind the promotion of pornography. So it's good to be aware of this and to expose it for what it is, a cheapening and a violation of our dignity. Another term is, this is the Latin, obscena. Our priests would probably be able to pronounce it better than me. But this is what cannot be presented to human view without any choice. So in other words, this is kind of the image that pops up on your computer when you don't want it. Actually, you should never want it, but this is when you don't have any right to see these images, and they're totally out of context. They only belong between the spouses. In pornography, the body becomes an object of enjoyment, intended for the satisfaction of concupiscence itself. It is contrary to the dignity of man, also in the intentional order of art and reproduction. So pornography reduces the body to an object of enjoyment. So it's use. And John Paul made this very, very clear, that the opposite to love is not necessarily hatred, but use. It's how we use each other. And pornography is a perfect example of using a person and their vulnerability and their sexuality. And it's intended for the satisfaction of concupiscence. It has nothing to do with love whatsoever. And not only does it have nothing to do with love, but it actually destroys the meaning of love. So this obviously is contrary to the dignity of man. And that it's contrary to the dignity of man not only in magazines and so on, but also in the production of art. And it's contrary in its intentional order. Now, what I mean by intentional order, an artist is not only a person who deals with beauty, but also is a moral being. It's a human person relating to another human being and communicating to other human beings. So there is a moral responsibility. And that moral responsibility lies in the intentional order. What is my intention? As I sculpt a naked lady, what is my intention? Is my intention is for my own arousal and the arousal of my audience, which would be basically pornography? Or is it to bring myself to understand the beauty that's much deeper, the supersensual beauty, the higher beauty that's behind this person, that's in this person, and it's in my relationship with this person? And also to help your audience. By doing that, you lead the artist, gives dignity to the person, and challenges the audience to appreciate the beauty on a higher level. Okay? So it's very, very important in the production of art, especially today. The observance or non-observance of these norms, so deeply connected with man's personal sensitivity, cannot be a matter of indifference for the problem of creating a climate favorable to chastity in life and social education. So we cannot afford to be indifferent about these aspects. These are crucial if we want to create a climate favorable to chastity. The deep inscription of the meaning of the human body can be violated only in the intentional order of the reproduction and representation. If the sense of shame and personal sensitivity is offended in these cases, that happens because of their transfer to the dimension of social communication. So this violation happens in the intentional order, what the artist is intending. And this happens in reproduction and representation. So reproduction would be mechanical, representation would be what the artist does.